By the time you watch this video, 138 girls under 18 will have been forced into marriage. That means every minute, 23 girls stop being just that, girls, and become wives. And what if I told you there's a country planning to legalize child marriage for girls as young as 9 years old? No, this isn't a joke. It's a real story, and it's coming from Iraq. But before we dive deeper, let me give you some context. Iraq is a diverse country full of contrasts. It's home to Arabs, Kurds, Turkmen, Yazidis, and Christians. However, the majority of the population practices Islam, divided into two major groups: Shia Muslims, who follow a more traditional interpretation, and Sunni Muslims, who represent the majority of Muslims worldwide. These two groups interpret the same religion differently, making coexistence in the country anything but smooth. On top of this, Iraq's government is dominated by Shia political parties, creating tension with Sunni Muslims and Kurds, who often disagree with laws based on Shia beliefs. One of the most controversial of these issues is child marriage. This has been a heated topic since 2014, when a proposal was first introduced to lower the legal marriage age to just 9 years old. But why is such a controversial amendment still being debated 10 years later? The answer lies in sacred texts. Shia Islam is one of the main branches of the religion, followed by around 5 to 10% of Muslims worldwide. Unlike other branches, Shia Muslims believe the Prophet Muhammad's succession is a divine right passed to his descendants. Another defining feature of Shia Islam is its reliance on Jafari jurisprudence. This legal framework is based on the teachings of Jafar al-Sadiq, the sixth Shia Imam. What's fascinating is its approach, blending sacred texts like the Quran and the Sunnah with logical reasoning to interpret Islamic law. In practice, this means if something is clearly outlined in the Quran or Sunnah, there's no debate. But if there's no direct guidance, Islamic jurists rely on opinions from scholars, assuming those interpretations are valid, even if the reasoning isn't always apparent. This brings us to the question of minimum marriage age. Some Shia clerics, such as Syed Jafar al-Musawi, defend child marriage, arguing it aligns with Islamic principles. Al-Musawi states that when a woman reaches puberty and menstruates, she is a fully grown woman and has the right to marry. This reasoning stems from an interpretation of Islamic law that equates physical maturity with marriage readiness, regardless of chronological age. Proponents even claim child marriage protects girls from dangers like sexual violence. Currently, Iraqi law allows marriage as young as 15 with judicial approval, creating legal loopholes that contribute to the rise in child marriages. According to UNICEF, approximately 28% of Iraqi women marry before turning 18. Think about it. If you were born in Iraq as a girl, you'd have nearly a 1 in 3 chance of being married off before adulthood. Shocking, right? This practice is influenced by a mix of cultural and social factors. Many families view daughters as an economic burden, seeing early marriage as a financial relief. But the driving force behind legalizing child marriage is the cultural and religious identity of the groups in power. On August 11, 2024, the Iraqi parliament took a critical step toward passing an amendment to the family law. If approved, this law could shift from protecting girls to putting them at risk, lowering the minimum marriage age to just 9 years old. The Iraqi government claims this reform aims to protect women and girls from immoral relationships. But human rights activists have a different perspective. They argue this effectively legalizes child rape. So, why 9 years old? If you think it's a random number, think again. The answer is even more unsettling. One of the most controversial aspects of the Prophet Muhammad's life involves his marriage to his so-called favorite wife, Aisha bint Abi Bakr. Aisha was born between late 613 and early 614 in Mecca, the daughter of 2 of Muhammad's close companions. Little is known about her childhood, but one notable story involves Muhammad comforting her after a scolding from her parents. He reportedly asked her mother to treat her more kindly. The debate over Aisha's age at marriage is deeply divisive. Without official birth records from the time, her exact age at marriage remains uncertain. Some accounts claim she was 6 years old when betrothed to Muhammad, and 9 when the marriage was consummated. Other sources, such as Al-Tabari, suggest she may have been 10. This historical precedent influences modern legislation, with some lawmakers drawing on these events to connect today's laws with past practices and religious texts. The problem is, it's 2025, And not everyone in Iraq is willing to live in the past. Many are fighting back. Iraqis have debated this issue before. In 2014, and again in 2017, similar proposals failed thanks to fierce opposition from women, the group most affected by such changes. Iraqi women have led the fight against these amendments because they know firsthand how their rights are at risk in a country plagued by gender inequality. Violence against women in Iraq is widespread, both at home and in public. Nearly half of married women have experienced domestic violence, whether emotional, physical, or sexual. But this proposed law isn't just about numbers. It also grants religious authorities absolute power over family matters like marriage and inheritance, overriding state laws. And these laws already favor perpetrators. For instance, Iraq's penal code reduces sentences for so-called honor crimes. Organizations like Amnesty International warn that these amendments would deepen discrimination and violate the rights of women and girls. Even Shia activists like Heba al-Naib and Nawar Assem argue that legalizing child marriage would severely harm Shia women. Al-Naib warns that this could lead to legalized pedophilia and normalized child marriage, infringing on women's basic rights. She also points out the devastating consequences for girls forced into early marriages, including unwanted pregnancies and severe mental health issues. As you've seen, the future of countless girls in Iraq hangs in the balance. In a country where violence and gender inequality are everyday realities, the international community must come together to ensure girls aren't forced into marriages that strip away their childhood and opportunities. What do you think we can do to continue fighting for the rights of these girls and women? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this story moved you, give it a like and subscribe for more stories like this. And don't forget to share this video and turn on notifications so you won't miss any important updates. See you next time.